Hi, welcome to Market Alert for Tuesday, the 12th of December 2017. And yesterday, let's switch things around a bit. Let's start off with the daily chart so we can see the bigger picture and then see how the market fared. We have got this resistance at the 76% retracements, but yesterday you can see this is as high as the market got, fairly sideways. The whole market waiting for Yellen, which is why I sent the note out yesterday. I forgot to mention it in all of the Bitcoin hysteria that's going on at the moment. Yesterday, in the alert that this week is the final FOMC live meeting and also the last one for Yellen. No doubt a round of applause coming from a lot of people that she's on her way out, but don't cheer too soon because she's being replaced by somebody who thinks exactly the same. So same monkey, different dress, as they say. So anyway, back to the pound. The market sideways, and in the sort of micro look at things, so we can see that the market started off with some buying yesterday, a bit of selling came in, and then a bit more buying. But notice this bar here, how the market came off the highs, the reverse of the one like this here that I've been talking about, where it comes off and then everything follows to the upside, the same as here. How it seems to support the market, even if it's only a temporary measure. So then the selling drops in, we see the sell signal, get some buying pressure here, and we can see the volume coming in quite a bit here. And then it's tested, no follow through. This is the shorts getting out, having ridden the market down. Get a quick attack down here, and then the buying coming back in. However, prices stall here. You can see the selling here, and then it's off we go to the downside for the remainder of the session, and that's where the market's traded throughout the Asian session there. In the Dow, again, just to reiterate, yesterday, this is why I sent a note out about the market being quiet, because that's exactly what it's going to do. Waiting for, it's a major event actually, and again, apologised for not putting it in the market alert. I intended to, but like I say, it was overshadowed by everything else that's going on, which is why when I thought about it, that I'd missed it, I sent out a note just as a warning, because the market is going to trade in a range waiting for Yellen's final moment tomorrow. And the prediction is that I think it's hovering around about 80% at the moment, opinion that the interest rates will be increased again by 0.25%, and this is part of a campaign to normalise rates as well as normalising the balance sheet. In the daily chart, you can see yesterday the market's up, volume is down. Is this sort of the last run up before we get a major correction in this market? We certainly could do with one. A good 20%. Without a doubt would be required to make this a viable buying opportunity over the medium term. What I mean by that is the first quarter of 2018. If we get a decent pullback, we're not going to get it before Christmas, that's a certain fact. Well, I'll say that. Can't be certain, of course, because if she doesn't increase interest rates tomorrow, it may be a loss of confidence, but then she does leave a post in February, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens tomorrow at 7 p.m. with regards to this. But I say the consensus at the moment is that it's going to see interest rates increase. If that does, then it's already factored into the market. But it's whether the bond market can cope with it, because that's seeing a big sell-off at the moment as a result of the rates increasing. News, what have we got today? It's over to the UK this morning for the CPI. And the RPI showing a slight increase as well. No fear of interest rates going up in the UK at the moment, as they've only gone back to where they were from the drop from 2008 all the way down to 0.5%. So Carney following suit, following the Brexit vote of everybody, all the central government, and dropping it down to 0.25%, and then of course he's just increased it back to where it was for the last goodness knows how many years. And don't forget, these are emergency interest rates. There has been no recovery, only just turning the credit taps on as usual without being able to increase interest rates. PPI input as well, Euro, and over to the ZEW economic sentiment, that's also out at 10 p.m. PPI, core PPI, which is out at 1:30, and then Super Mario's out at 7 p.m. Nobody listens to him anymore, but he is out at 7 p.m, so keep an eye on that one. That must be the same time that Yellen will be out tomorrow evening. Let's have a quick look at the implied volatility. Not a lot to report here at the moment, just up slightly from the 9.15 yesterday to 9.18. So no great shakes there, which you wouldn't expect as the market was sideways. And a quick look at the Bitcoin news and the Bitcoin price before we finish off. The Bitcoin price is down slightly on the overnight there, and it's amazing. The futures haven't made much of a difference. I wouldn't expect them to be honest with you, because as it says here, Bitcoin futures stabilize at 8% premium to spot as no-brainer shorts fail to appear. Nobody wants to short it, and probably a wise decision, given that also on one of the other news items on Zero Hedge, we've seen that, whether it's true or not, of course, you take these things with a pinch of salt, but don't forget there's a sort of a camp of for and a camp for against cryptocurrencies at the moment. And it's amazing on the negative side, some of the comments that actually come out. I find it quite fascinating what's being said, in particular the old guard of Rickards, Peter Schiff. Very, very interesting. Personally, I just tend to think, well, let's have a look at it, see what it's all about, instead of protesting about it and from an old stance, an old paradigm that gold and silver are the key. Like I say, I hold physical metals as insurance, as part of any sort of global systemic risk or anything kicking off. Always worth doing, but it doesn't make me negative towards the cryptocurrencies. Definitely there's opportunities there's no doubts about that, but it's amazing how dogmatic and stuck in the mud a lot of people are with regards to these things. It's amazing. Instead of just having a look, Bitcoin futures tumble as spot arbitrage collapses. It will collapse. It's going to take an awful lot of liquidity to get this market to get any sort of balance. You can see there that the futures dropped and the Bitcoin spot remained. Like I say, these are totally disconnected. There's just no way that this is going to work. It's just impossible to work as far as I can see at the moment. And as the article goes on to say, something just snapped in the cryptosphere. First, we noted that the spread between Bitcoin spot and futures was tumbling. And as this here says, arbitrage will close the gap, but it will be days and weeks, CBO Chief Executive Officer Ed Tilly said, Bloomberg Television Monday, less than a day after launching the product. And this is the reason why, because if you're doing a cash-settled futures, it's just a bet, which it is. And this is something, again, that I've talked about. There is no delivery of the physical, and that's what all of the future markets were designed for in the first place. If you grow wheat, then you hedge it in the futures market to lock in the price of the actual commodity that you're actually growing. And of course, this is just purely a gamble and a bet. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, as it says here, if it's not related to any underlying physical traction, the only people who want to do it are the gamblers, and of course those in power that particularly would like to see this cryptosphere, as it's now being called, removed. So very interesting to see what's going on here. This sort of it's becoming quite political, I suppose. It's a bit like the Democrats and Republicans here. It's as if the Bitcoin has become the new Trump, with all of the criticism and everything else that's being levelled at it. But there you go. It's you always get this, though, when there's a major paradigm shift in anything throughout history. And it was the same with the .com, it was the same with emails, the same with the internet. You always get this criticism and rejection to begin with, and then eventually you end up with acceptance. So we'll see. we'll see. Nobody really knows what will happen, but at the moment, Bitcoin is here, and at the moment it's here to stay at this time, unless the powers that be have ideas otherwise, but we'll see. Right, that will do it for this one. Again, quiet day today, waiting for the FOMC tomorrow night, I would suspect, and also it's Tuesday as well. We'll see what happens. Right, that will do it for this one. Report if there's anything other than that. As ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.